So I first started actually my TikTok back in 2019. I was actually You're my 30th inmate. Did I not tell you that? I swear, I've been with 30 inmates. You don't know me. I'm not like your baby mama. I'm not like any of these other females who give their kids up and go choose the party life over my kids. Guys, this is what the life of partying fucking does to you. Like, you wake up at whatever time, you literally... And why? That's why they call me the inmate hopper.
She married a man in prison. Why? This is her second marriage in prison.
Oh my God.
I just had this thing to be with somebody incarcerated. Like, I don't know, I liked bad boys, okay? I just date inmates. Don't eat. You drink. My kids have never been taken away from me. My kids have always been with me. And a lot of y'all spread rumors and say that CPS took my kids from me. Baby, CPS has never taken my kids. Yes, I've had like 20 CPS cases. And I know like what ruined it was whenever I flashed my, you know? I am not jealous of my daughter. I told her, get that bag, baby. You are young. Get it right now while you can. And you won't ever have to work. But if y'all are not following my daughter, go ahead and go give her a follow, you guys.
It's not even for that reason, to be honest. I feel like some of their friends are jealous because of the life that they have.
You can't compare my parenting to y'all's parenting.
Do you think that maybe sometimes she can exploit situations to get views? I'm gonna be real, yeah.
We already know up on this channel that Ash Trevino is a hot damn mess. However, I find myself so amazed that it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And y'all know me, I am always going to be that like hopeful, naive person that sits here and says, you know what, I think that people can learn, change, and grow.
Your eyes, take a deep breath and picture this. You're a younger teenager browsing the internet and suddenly you come across white teeth, dimples, that smile. He's a big TikToker. He has no idea you exist, but you can't help it. You have a crush. Giddy, excited, knowing nothing will ever happen with him in a million years, but just having fun, daydreaming. You show your mom this cute guy, hoping to have a bonding moment with her.
Over here, like y'all, I think what it is, if I'm keeping it real with you guys, like I'm just such a forgiving person within my personal life that I'm over here like people that act a mess and say dumb things on the internet. Like I always feel like, oh my gosh, we all say some dumb shit. We all, you know, accidentally say the wrong word sometimes. And sometimes we say some offensive things. You know what I mean?
You know, your mom has not only DM'd your crush, but started a public relationship with him, constantly live streaming their conversations. That mom is Ash Trevino, and today we're gonna attempt to figure out what the actual hell is going on.
I'm sorry to the Mexicans, okay? I will never use that.
Hispanic community.
Oh, the Hispanic community. I will never use that word again or any racial slurs towards y'all.
I feel like people could change. However, the things that come out of Ash Trevino's mouth, y'all, I start to realize like what is like going on in her brain. Like I literally sit here and think sometimes like when I'm scrolling through TikTok and I hear some words come out of her mouth, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, girl, you got like brain rot, like straight up something is wrong with her brains. And I don't know why that sometimes when she opens her mouth, I picture like Oogie Boogie and then like all the worms falling out.
Welcome back, you guys. And today we really need to talk about Ash Trevino because what just went down has people stunned all over again. So just when we thought her breakup drama couldn't get any messier, Ash ended up crying on live from a Motel 6 saying she's got nowhere to go, all while her new man is out here spilling major tea about what really happened between them. And y'all, this includes everything from a rushed proposal to her calling his 11-year-old son to beg for help. Yeah, it's that deep. And if you've been keeping up, you know Ash doesn't exactly do quiet breakups. This is the same woman who's built an entire persona around internet meltdowns, chaotic relationships, and dating people most wouldn't even consider. And this time, it looks like she spiraled so fast, even her followers couldn't keep up. Just last week, she was all smiles, proposing to this guy after barely 3 weeks together, talking about how she was locked in and meeting his whole family. But not even 48 hours later, he reportedly told her to pack up and leave. And now she's out here saying she's homeless, heartbroken, and being lied on. Now, we've seen Ash jump from relationship to relationship, but this one might be her most performative yet, and we're going to break it all down. From her Motel 6 breakdown to the wild accusations being made online, her daughter's shocking reaction, and the fake rebrand she's suddenly pushing.
Dark things possible. We're talking about inmate hopping, horrific parenting, the fascination of dating much younger men, and an unhinged night out that led to multiple arrests. And that's just an average Tuesday.
Let's get into all the details of how Ash Trevino got exposed once again by her own behavior, and by the very man she thought was her forever. So, without wasting any time, let's unpack this latest saga that's taken over TikTok, Facebook, and now even her own comment section. So, this whole mess actually started out as what Ash made seem like a fairy tale. I mean, she was glowing on live just a few days ago, saying she'd finally found her forever person. She was posting selfies, showing off dinner dates, and telling her fans that this man made her feel safe, like genuinely loved and chosen. At one point, she even showed a little note she wrote him calling him her safe place. Yeah, it got that deep, that fast. But here's where things started to feel, well, extremely rushed. Within the first week of knowing him, Ash had already met his kids, his mom, cousins, and even planned to meet 9 more family members. We're talking family-level bonding after just a handful of TikToks together. She was posting like this was a serious, long-term relationship. And you guys, she even proposed. Like, yes, she literally got down on one knee with candles, flowers, and the whole setup, and asked this man to marry her after just 3 weeks. And apparently, she planned it all herself. Of course, her followers were already raising eyebrows. People in the comments were like, wait, isn't this the same guy who embarrassed her on a jacuzzi live just weeks ago? Spoiler alert. Yep, same guy. This was the man who once publicly made super rude comments about her hygiene on a stream. And instead of cutting him off, Ash decided to turn him into her soulmate.
I just kind of feel like that's her brain. Like, to be straight up with you, I feel like her brain is oogie boogie with like worms just falling out of it, because I'm like, this girl is so far gone. It's crazy. The shit that comes out of her mouth, obviously, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, she is saying that Brianna Olsen got what she deserved.
Fans were honestly confused, but Ash doubled down on the love story, making it seem like everything was perfect. And this time, it was real. Except it wasn't. Just 2 days after she popped the question, this guy dumped her. Like, flat out told her he didn't want her back in the house and that she needed to come collect her things. And suddenly, the girl who was just planning wedding hashtags and blending families was now crying in a motel bed, saying she had nowhere to go and had been played. But as messy as that sounds, it was just the beginning, because what she did next had the internet in complete disbelief. So after getting dumped just days after proposing, Ash took her emotions straight to the internet, like always. And this time, it was a full-on meltdown streamed live from a Motel 6 room. No filter, no edits, just straight up sobbing into the camera while thousands watched. She was pacing the room, crying, ranting, and basically falling apart on live, saying things like, "You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. No, you're not. No, you're not." It was messy, it was chaotic, and it was so painfully public. Ash claimed she had cut everyone off for this man. Her friends, her followers, and even her own boundaries.
And Ash Trevino is literally getting up on the internet and saying, well, she deserved it, maybe if she wasn't so annoying. And I'm sitting over here like, this is how you know Ash Trevino is just so far gone mentally, because so many people hate her on the internet, male and female. And the fact that she is out here saying that she deserved it.
She said she was cooking for him from day one, doing everything a good partner is supposed to do, and couldn't understand why he'd turn around and just toss her out like that. And while some fans tried to show sympathy, a huge portion of the internet was like, girl, what did you expect? Because let's be real, this isn't the first time Ash has gone 0 to forever in a relationship. This whole fast-track love thing has been her pattern for years, but even her most loyal viewers were shook at how quickly it all crumbled this time. Like, how do you go from proposing to someone one day and then being locked out of their house the next? And the part that really hit people? Ash wasn't just heartbroken, she said she had nowhere to go. That she was officially homeless and didn't know what was next. One minute she was calling herself a luxury homeowner, and the next, she's crying in a motel bed talking about how she lost everything. It was hard to tell what was real and what was performative, but the emotion in her voice definitely had people feeling some type of way. But it didn't stop there, because while Ash was spiraling live for the world to see, her ex, the very guy who dumped her, was out here telling his side of the story. And let's just say, he didn't hold anything back. So while Ash was out here breaking down and calling him the villain, her ex wasn't staying quiet. Nope. Instead, he went straight onto TikTok, sat down for an interview with drama creator Carol C, and dropped some serious tea that totally flipped the narrative. And let's just say, people were not ready for the receipts he brought with him.
sitting here as a normal human being, and even though Ash Trevino is a hot damn mess, I still don't think that she deserves any type of V. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like she has said some real out of pocket shit, and I still don't sit here and say, oh, she deserves to get her hands put on her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, the fact that Ash Trevino can say that about Brie, to me, okay, I'm just keeping it real with you guys.
According to him, the real reason for the breakup had nothing to do with Ash being blindsided or used. In fact, he claims that she constantly created chaos in their short relationship and got mad anytime he tried to maintain basic boundaries, especially when it came to his ex. Now, keep in mind, this man shares a child with his ex, and he said all he wanted to do was visit his daughter. But apparently, Ash wasn't having it. She allegedly flipped out the moment he said he was going to his ex's house, which, by the way, used to be his own house and is now where his daughter lives. He explained it like, "She got mad that I went to see my child, but she's out here collaborating with her ex, Santos, throwing kisses at him on my couch." The internet was like, wait, what? And to make it even worse, he says Ash would flirt with Santos while staying under his roof, knowing full well he could see everything. People were shocked, because if you've been following Ash for a while, you know she's gone on record before saying she would never be around Brianna Olsen or be seen with that crew again. And now suddenly she's flying out to Texas and linking up with all of them? Yeah, it's not giving consistent energy. He also said she was constantly picking fights over his co-parenting while simultaneously hanging out with her own alleged ex and acting like it was no big deal. The double standard? Pretty wild. But just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, Ash went and did something that seriously crossed the line, like actually involved a child in the drama, and people were left completely stunned.
Every single time that like Ash Trevino has feuded on live before, or online I should say, it's like always with the girl, and I really do feel like it's because she's jealous of them. That's just my little 2 cents over here. That's just my little opinion over here, because I'm like, why is it that she's always making these comments and going at girls like this? Like, you can just totally tell that she's like envious, and I'm so sorry, y'all. I think this is where some insecurities come in, because she is built like the Mucinex little monster, that I really do feel like she's super insecure.
Okay, you guys. So, if things weren't already spiraling, Ash took the drama to a whole other level. And this move had literally everyone saying, nope, she crossed a line. Because instead of clapping back at her ex directly or setting the record straight on her own live, Ash decided to call his 11-year-old son and drag him into the middle of their breakup. Yes, a literal child. While her ex was live streaming an interview about their split, Ash called his son and begged him to tell his dad to stop talking about her online. The clip of that call started circulating all over social media, and honestly, it was hard to watch. In the video, Ash says, "Call your dad. He's sitting there at a bar talking about me with Carol C. I've been nothing but good to you and your sister. Tell him to stop before this gets worse." And the wildest part? She actually says, "You know I can make his life miserable." People were like, wait, is she threatening a man through his child right now? Fans flooded the comments calling it immature, irresponsible, and flat out weird. Because no matter what went down between her and the guy, involving a child like that, that's a hard no for most people. And it wasn't just about the phone call, it was the whole energy. Instead of going on live and telling her side like everyone expected, she put that emotional pressure on a middle schooler who didn't even ask to be involved. Even people who used to defend Ash said this was the moment they started backing away. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't just some petty TikTok drama. It involved a real kid who now has to see clips of this conversation floating around the internet forever.
And she like projects that onto other people, because making a comment like that, like, it's crazy to me. And at the time that she made this comment, Brie and Santos haven't even got up on the internet.
And what's even more ironic, while Ash was trying to accuse her ex of clout chasing, she was literally doing giveaway promos during her breakdowns, offering freebies if fans mass unfollowed him. Like, the contradictions just keep stacking up. But she wasn't done. Ash went straight from emotional begging to full-on damage control and started rewriting the story with a whole new narrative. So, after the emotional meltdown, the Motel livestream, and that bizarre phone call to a child, you'd think Ash might go quiet for a bit. But nope. She switched gears real fast and went straight into full-blown damage control. Except instead of addressing anything directly, she started pulling stunts that had people seriously questioning her intentions. First off, she told her followers to go mass unfollow her ex. Yes, the same ex she literally proposed 2 days earlier. And it wasn't just a casual suggestion either. Ash promised that if enough people unfollowed him, she'd host a giveaway. Like, girl, you just said you were heartbroken and homeless, and now we're throwing in a promo? The internet didn't know whether to be confused or concerned, or both. And let's not forget, just a few days earlier, she had been hyping this same guy up, telling fans to follow his account so he could reach 5,000 followers. She even said she'd do a giveaway if he hit that milestone. So to go from support him to cancel him in under a week? Yeah, that's giving major contradiction energy. What made it even worse is that Ash tried to flip the script and accuse him of using her for clout. She told her followers that he was never really interested in her. He just wanted attention, TikTok fame, and a platform of his own. But here's the thing. This guy didn't even have a social media presence before Ash started promoting him.
And like stated their side of the story, so the public didn't really know. Obviously, everyone knew that he was arrested, and they were seeing this arrest court paper or whatever the hell it was called from the actual police department.
He wasn't live streaming, posting content, or even trying to build a brand. So when he finally did go live to defend himself, people weren't necessarily seeing that as clout chasing. They were seeing it as self-defense. At this point, even her diehard supporters were like, wait a minute, how can someone claim to be heartbroken, but also be planning giveaways and dragging their ex online in the same breath? And just when people thought she might finally take a break and lay low, Ash started teasing a full-on rebrand. Yup, she suddenly declared that her drama era was over, and she was stepping into something completely new. So right after Ash went live sobbing in a motel, called a child into the drama, and threw out a giveaway to cancel her ex, she popped back on TikTok with a whole new vibe. Gone was the heartbreak talk. Now, she was talking about rebranding. Yup, Ash Trevino told her followers that she was officially done with the drama, done with the inmate storylines, done with the chaos. She said she wanted to become a mukbang creator and start a fresh chapter. Now on paper, that doesn't sound terrible. Rebranding is normal, and a lot of creators pivot to something new when things get toxic. But in Ash's case, the internet was not buying it. Why? Because just days before, she had been involved in one of her most public breakdowns ever. And now she's sitting in front of a ring light, casually sipping a soda, saying she's going to be a food creator. It was giving whiplash. And here's where things got even more confusing. Ash told her fans that she wasn't living in her car anymore. She said she still had her apartment and was just moving out because it needed work. But then in the next live, she said she was homeless again and figuring out where to go next. And then, after that, she said she lost the house because she already bought another one. Like, girl, which is it? People started calling out the constant inconsistency. First, she's a luxury homeowner, then she's in her car, then it's Motel 6, then she's buying a new house, and now she's a mukbanger? The storyline just wasn't adding up.
So everyone was like, oh my gosh, he put his hands on Brie. She got up on the internet and said that. I'm like, she is so trifling. I am so damn sorry. But I'm like, ugh. Sometimes I just feel like something's wrong with me. But then also at the same time, too, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys.
And honestly, the whole rebrand felt more like a distraction tactic than a real change. Especially since she was still going live, talking about the breakup, dragging her ex, and keeping the drama front and center. One comment even said, "You can't erase years of chaos with a Coke bottle and a camera." And they kind of had a point. But just when people were starting to question if Ash's chaos was catching up to her, someone else entered the conversation. And it wasn't a stranger. It was her own daughter. And what she said? Honestly, it was heartbreaking. So while Ash was busy pushing her mukbang rebrand and trying to scrub the chaos off her image, someone close to her was watching it all unfold. And they finally had enough. Her own daughter, Haley, jumped on TikTok and made it very clear how she really felt about everything her mom was doing. And honestly, what she said hit way harder than anything the internet had to say. In a clip that quickly started circulating, Haley talked about how overwhelming things had become and said something that shook a lot of people. Right now, I just wish my dad was alive. That one sentence said everything. She didn't name names, didn't go into details, but the message was loud and clear. She didn't want to be part of the circus her mom was creating anymore. Ash eventually responded to the growing questions about her kids by saying they weren't with her at the moment. Her explanation? That they're homebodies and prefer staying with her mom. She even said she wasn't in the right mental space to be around them. And sure, some people appreciated the honesty, but others couldn't help but point out the double standard. Because while she claimed to be too mentally drained to care for her own kids, she was also just babysitting her new boyfriend's children 2 weeks ago. She moved into a stranger's house after 3 weeks, was playing family with his kids, but then says she's not able to parent her own? That's where fans started drawing the line. Even more confusing, she tried to explain that she was still supporting her kids financially and gave her mom so much money yesterday to help out. But considering she also said she was broke and living out of motels, that didn't really track either. The situation with her daughter kind of exposed the emotional fallout behind the scenes. It wasn't just about TikTok clout or internet messiness anymore. It was about real relationships being affected and a family dynamic that was clearly crumbling in public view.
Actually, quite a few of you guys, like probably more than a lot, okay? A lot of people call me naive online. Whenever I say I really do feel like people can learn, change, and grow, I always say that because y'all, I just love giving the benefit of the doubt because I feel like people on the internet are way too damn harsh, and y'all know that I'm forever against the people.
And just when you thought the story might start to quiet down, Ash dropped a raw confession about her past that revealed way more than anyone expected. So after the back-to-back breakdowns, the rebrand claims, and her daughter's emotional response, Ash came back on live with something a little different. Instead of the usual drama-filled rants or defensive claps back, she opened up in a rare, vulnerable moment, talking about her past struggles in a way that had fans pausing for a second. Ash admitted that she's dealt with what she called addictions, not to substances, but to behaviors. Specifically, she talked about how between 2015 and 2017, she went through what she described as a self-destructive spiral. She said she used to seek validation from attention, from hooking up with people constantly, from getting involved in situationships that went nowhere. And she admitted to experiencing multiple miscarriages during that time, one allegedly with a sugar daddy and another with an ex. According to Ash, she wasn't chasing love. She was chasing something to fill a void. She said, "Nobody wanted me. I felt like I was never going to be happy, so I'd fill that gap with whatever made me feel seen for a second." And while some viewers were surprised to see her being this raw, others felt like this was just another phase in a cycle that's been repeating itself for years. Because if you really look at her recent behavior, jumping into fast relationships, oversharing online, clinging to chaotic situations, it's not that different from the pattern she described. It just evolved. One follower even commented, "She's not chasing attention through dating anymore. Now she's chasing it through content." The thing is, it's hard to say whether this was a moment of real reflection or just another way to shift the narrative, especially when it came right after all the backlash she was facing over her daughter's comments, her Motel live streams, and the fake rebrand. But regardless of the motive, that confession gave us a glimpse into just how deep the emotional roller coaster really goes. And it also raised a much bigger question. Does Ash even know how to exist without some kind of chaos surrounding her? Because as much as she claims to want peace and growth, the patterns keep repeating. And the more she tries to rebrand, the more obvious it becomes that something deeper might be fueling all of it. At this point, it's pretty clear that Ash Trevino's biggest obstacle isn't her ex, her followers, or even her critics. It's herself. Whether it's a whirlwind proposal, a Motel live stream, a new rebrand, or a confession about her past, there's always one common thread: chaos. And sure, some might say it's all for clicks, that the crying, the clout battles, the giveaways, and the emotional oversharing are just part of the online character she's created. But others, especially longtime followers, see something more heartbreaking. They see someone caught in a cycle, desperately trying to feel chosen, loved, and seen, even if it means self-destructing in front of thousands of people again and again. The sad part, every time she promises change, the story stays the same. A new man, a new meltdown, a new explanation, but the ending always loops back around. And now, with her kids stepping away, her followers calling out the contradictions, and her own daughter speaking up, it feels like we're watching the slow unraveling of someone who doesn't know how to stop turning pain into content. Because here's the thing. One day the internet will move on. There will be someone newer, messier, louder, and when that happens, the views will dry up, the comments will fade, and Ash will be left alone with the same emptiness she keeps trying to escape. So whether this latest spiral is real or just another episode in the content machine, one thing's for sure, something has to give. Because right now, Ash Trevino isn't just spiraling, she's stuck. And the longer this continues, the harder it'll be to climb out.